This is TOS Television, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Merciful Ajinama, and you're watching Africa Now. French President Emmanuel Macron at the Finance in Africa Summit in Paris on Tuesday called on the World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, and the Medicines Patent Pool to lift all constraint on vaccine patents to allow African manufacture on the continent. The first high-level meeting of its kind since the pandemic began was held to boost financing in Africa amid the Covid-19 pandemic from May 17th to 18th. 40% of people in Africa should be vaccinated against Covid-19 by the end of 2021, Macron stated. And India's stop on vaccine export to Africa poses serious risk to achieving the continent's stated target for Covid-19 vaccination, according to John Nkengasong, the director of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. India stopped the supply of vaccines under the Global COVAX initiative a month ago due to the spike in coronavirus cases in its country. Africa falls far behind other regions in vaccinating its population due to supply issues and meager financial resources. The Algeria presidency on Tuesday says it has cancelled the decision to reopen its land borders that were closed because of the coronavirus pandemic. The North African country had on Sunday disclosed it will reopen land and air borders on June 1st. International flights will resume partially, while the land borders would only open in cases of necessity. In recent months, Egypt's tourism industry is experiencing a gradual inflow of visitors heading to resorts along the Red Sea and Mediterranean coast amid the coronavirus pandemic. In 2020, the number of tourists visiting Egypt sank to 3.5 million from 13.1 million in 2019. Egypt welcomed 500,000 tourists in April, more than double the number in January, and up from just 200,000 tourists a month in the second half of last year, says Tourism and Antiquities Minister Khalid El Enani. Tourism accounts for up to 15% of Egypt's national output and is a key source of foreign currency. Away from COVID-19 update, as part of efforts to promote ecotourism and combat the effects of climate change, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is leading a campaign called Green Legacy to plant 20 billion trees across the country by 2022. The initiative was launched in 2019 as part of Abiy's focus on the environment. Over 10 billion trees were planted in the first 2 years of the project, according to Omar Hussein, Minister of Agriculture. At the launch in a meeting filled with freshly watered seedlings on Tuesday, Abiy says planting will continue until September and October, and plans are on the way to send 1 billion seedlings to neighboring countries. This is your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television, and you're watching Africa Now. We move to business after the break. Do stay. Welcome back. In business, in just the concluded African Finance Summit in Paris on Tuesday, French President Emmanuel Macron agreed to work towards persuading rich nations to raise Africa's special drawing rights with the IMF to $100 billion from $33 billion by October. Up to 39 million Africans are at risk of falling into poverty this year, with many African countries at risk of debt distress because of the pandemic, forecast the African Development Bank. Kristalina Georgieva, International Monetary Fund Managing Director, says it is time to stem the dangerous divergence between advanced economies and developing countries, especially in Africa. Now, the World Bank has committed to invest and mobilize $150 billion to Africa's development over the next 5 years. Vaccines, debt, inequality, transparency, and investment are core challenges the continent suffers from. David Malpass, World Bank's president, who made this known at a session of the Finance and African Summit in Paris, says the pledge made it to close the infrastructure gap and improve access to low-carbon electricity, enhance trade finance, expand alternative small business finance, and support agribusiness activities. As international capital markets open up and interest rates decline, the Nigerian government on Tuesday says it plans to issue $3 billion or more in Eurobonds. Due to market turmoil caused by the COVID-19 pandemic last year, the West African country deferred its 2020 sales. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a letter to Parliament seeking approval for the debt raise, says the plan is to raise the sum of $6.183 billion from a combination of sources. You're still watching your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television, and this is Africa Now, stories on matters of insecurity coming your way after the break. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. On matters of security, Algerian authorities have tagged the movement for the autonomy of Kabyle and the Rachid opposition movement illegal and terrorist entities. According to the High Council for National Security in a statement, members of these organizations will now be convicted under a new law that punishes any Algerian joining an organization abroad that damages the interest of the country. The MAC is a separatist group based in Paris that is seeking to split the ethnic Berber region of Kabyle from the rest of the North African country, and the London-based Rachid in an opposition political movement calling for peaceful regime change in Algeria. And to Libya, in the wake of the October 2020 United Nations-sponsored peace effort in Libya, Tunis Air has become the first foreign carrier to fly the country's route after 7 years on Monday. Libya, the North African oil-rich country, has been torn by conflict since the defeat of loyalist forces and killing of dictator Muammar Gaddafi during a NATO-backed uprising in 2011. Tunisia says it has scheduled 3 flights a week to Tripoli and 2 to Benghazi in eastern Libya. And that is Africa Now. For more updates, visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com. Follow us and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Stay with us and enjoy more programs on the network. I am Merciful Ajinama. Thank you for watching.